Quest Audiobooks presents an unabridged recording of False Dawn by Vanessa Nelson, narrated by Jessica Whittaker. Chapter 1. Thea glared at the parchment in front of her as if she could, by will alone, make the scrawled letters become clear and resolve themselves into coherent, complete words. Literacy was a basic requirement for the Watch, due to the nature of their jobs, but that did not mean that a watchman's handwriting had to be legible. The heavy black marks on the paper stayed stubbornly unresolved. In most places, she was not even sure where one word ended and another began. She glared at the writing some more, wondering if anyone would notice if she simply set fire to it and asked the watchman for a verbal report instead. But destroying a watchman's report would get her into trouble rather than the watchman. And the sergeant had made it clear that she needed to have the weekly report ready by morning, just in time for him to sign his name to it and send it off to the watch captain. The sergeant was supposed to compile these weekly reports himself, but he had delegated the task to Thea for the past few weeks. She had swallowed her objections. The rest of the watchmen and women in Brightfield Station tolerated her, little more. Reading through the reports and compiling the weekly update at least gave her a glimpse into what was happening in her district. The petty thefts, the occasional domestic argument, a tavern brawl or two, almost all perfectly routine, the sorts of things that the Watch dealt with day in and day out. Setting aside the illegible report, she picked up the next one instead. At least she could read the handwriting, and the spelling was creative enough to require her full attention to decipher. She was alone in the building. The day's shift was almost done, and the night shift had not yet arrived. So she permitted herself to say one carefully chosen curse word, and then bent her head to the report. It felt like only moments later that the station's front door slammed open, snapping her out of her focus. Thea turned and blinked. No, she was not seeing things. There was a small, middle-aged man in the doorway. He had a slightly rounded face that was currently wearing a frown. He was dressed in the sort of robes that she associated with merchants, floor-length, made of heavy fabric in a deep russet colour, and embroidered with metallic thread that gleamed in the early evening light, the collar and cuffs of a white shirt showing at the neck and sleeves of the robes. And he had a blue head. His face was a normal.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?